Slotkin.
Thank you. Congratulations, Mr. Chairman and Madam Ranking Chairman. I'm honored to be here as the successor of Debbie Stabenow, our esteemed former chairman, the queen of Michigan agriculture. We miss her, and I have really, really big shoes to fill there. Thank you for our conversation in my office. I appreciate your positive approach to meeting with everybody. And I have the honor to live on my family farm, which used to be beef cattle, is now soy and corn alternatively. But I'm also a former CIA officer, Pentagon official. So I really come to the Ag Committee with a sense that food security is national security, and the United States should always be able to feed itself by itself. And everything flows from there. If people agree, then there's a lot of policies that become pretty clear. The sale of our land to foreign governments or to private equity, all of those things. So I think that's the approach that I tend to take. I'm also from Michigan. We're not Kansas. We're not Iowa. We are specialty crops, right? We have the second most diverse agricultural sector in the country after California. We take pride in not doing monocropping and doing a lot of fruits and vegetables and a lot of other things. So this is why I'm particularly concerned about the tariffs. Everyone's talking about tariffs. Mr. Trump is throwing them around, and I just want to review the bidding to make sure, particularly with your agency, that we're all on the same page on what happened the last time President Trump put on tariffs, what happened specifically to our farmers. So just to review the bidding, President Trump announced 25% tariffs on Chinese products, batteries, TVs, medical devices. Again, I certainly understand the instinct as a CIA officer, right? I want to push back on China. China retaliated and put 25% tariffs on soybeans, fruits, pork, and some other items. Then we got into a trade war. We started adding more things to the list. They started adding more things to the list. It went on and on and on and back and forth. Suddenly our farmers across the country are screaming bloody murder because the markets that they used to have access to, no one wanted to buy our stuff because it had that 25% tariff. We felt that very acutely. So what did we do? Because we felt, under the Trump administration, people rightfully felt like our farmers were getting the shaft here. They raided the CCC account, the emergency rainy day account that you will have, control over, for $23 billion to give subsidies to our farmers. So we put on the tariff, got into a trade war, ended up, our farmers were in trouble, we paid them off. And everyone's here has said, no farmer wants a subsidy, they want to work, right? They want to get paid a fair rate for their crop. That emergency fund is the same fund that helps us with things like avian flu that we're now dealing with all over the country. So you can imagine, as a Michigander, the throwing around of tariffs, particularly with Canada, Mexico, a bunch of other places. I'm trepidatious that this is going to come back to our farmers. And when you get confirmed, and it looks like you will swear an oath to the Constitution of the United States, not to President Trump. So can you say, I know you've said it, but for the Michiganders watching, that you will throw your body in front of the bus to make sure that any political talking point on tariffs that may sound good is actually truly tested against how it will impact our farmers, like it was not last time around?
Senator, I appreciate your passion. I share it. And I think we are similar in a lot of ways. And yes, my commitment is that there will be no sleeping, that we will work around the clock to ensure that our ag communities across this country are represented in those discussions and at the table. And I will do everything in my power to elevate, preserve, honor, conserve that backbone of America.
Yeah, I just want to know that, you have a good relationship with President Trump, and that's a value add. So use it to help our farmers, not just a political talking point. We all want to punch back on China, most of us. Mm-hmm. But it's got to fit reality here and not end up boomeranging on us like it did last time. Next is avian flu. We talked about this as well in my office. Michigan has had has been dealing with this. Lots of states around the country are dealing with it. We've had human beings, a few getting ill, one passed away. We now see it in cats, household pets that are eating birds that have it, that kind of thing. And, what we've seen, I think Michigan has gotten decently high marks for handling it well because we've cooperated with the federal government, right? But there's a lot of folks around the country that are not so friendly with the federal government. You are going to be, the federal government, having to put some muscle behind some of our rules so that we don't see this spread, right? So we don't, again, we're all, right now, you cannot get a dozen eggs around Holly, Michigan, where I live, for less than $4.69 a dozen. Used to be $2. So please tell me what you're going to do in the federal government role that you're about to take to make sure that we stem the spread of avian flu, even to states and farmers who are not so friendly with the federal government.
Yeah. Thank you, Senator. And I do remember our conversation. It is certainly a top priority. I know in my opening remarks, it is one of my top 4 priorities on day one, putting the right team in place to ensure that, that what you discussed and outlined is happening. I do believe that with my depth of experience with working at all levels of government, specifically at the state level. I've been working closely, I believe probably mostly Republican, maybe all Republican, but all the ag commissioners I'm already in contact with, and if confirmed, will continue to work closely with them. I think there's no doubt that the all of government approach, working with the stakeholder community, but also the state and local officials, is going to be extremely important. And to your point about food security at the top of your remarks, that remains paramount, I think, for all of us.
Yeah. And then lastly, I'll just echo some of Senator Warnock's comments. We have seen in versions of the Farm Bill that were created in the past year, both in the House and the Senate, that SNAP is usually the bill payer for at least part of it. In cuts to SNAP, and then additional subsidies to some of our farmers, frankly, particularly farmers down south. I understand that that's popular. I would just ask you again to look into your heart. If the majority of poor people are children, that's not a work requirement that they can meet, right? So please just remember the children and be thoughtful about our approach on SNAP, not just, again, a political talking point.
I will,
Thank you.
Senator.
I yield back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Senator Fisher.
Thank you, Senator Bozeman, and congratulations on your gavel. Look forward to working with you.